Lughnasadh or Lughnasa is a Gaelic festival marking the beginning of the harvest season. Historically, it was widely observed throughout Ireland, Scotland and the Isle of Man. Originally it was held on August 1, or about halfway between the summer solstice and autumn equinox. However, over time the celebrations shifted to the Sundays nearest this date. Lughnasadh is one of the 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals. Along with Samhain, Imbolc and Beltane. It corresponds to other European harvest festivals such as the Welsh Gwyl Awst and the English Lammas. Lughnasadh is mentioned in some of the earliest Irish literature and is believed to have pagan origins. The festival itself is named after the god Lugh. It involved great gatherings that included religious ceremonies, ritual athletic contests, feasting, matchmaking and trading. There were also visits to holy wells. According to folklorist Máire MacNeill, evidence shows that the religious rites included an offering of the first of the corn, a feast of the new food and of bilberries, the sacrifice of a bull and a ritual dance play. Much of this would have taken place on top of hills and mountains. Lughnasadh customs persisted widely until the 20th century, with the event being variously named Garland Sunday, Bilberry Sunday, Mountain Sunday and Crumdub Sunday. The custom of climbing hills and mountains at Lughnasadh has survived in some areas, although it has been recast as a Christian pilgrimage. The best known is the Reeks Sunday pilgrimage to the top of Croagh Patrick on the last Sunday in July. A number of fairs are also believed to be survivals of Lughnasadh, for example the Puck Fair. Since the later 20th century, Celtic neo-pagans have observed Lughnasadh, or something based on it, as a religious holiday. In some places, elements of the festival have been revived as a cultural event. Name: in Old Irish, the name was Lughnasadh. This is a combination of Lughnasadh, which is unstressed when used as a suffix. Later spellings include Lugh to the first I Nasa, Lughnasadh and Lughnasa. In modern Irish, the spelling is Lughnasa, which is also the name for the month of August. The genitive case is also Lughnasa as in Ma Lughnasa and La Lughnasa. In modern Scottish Gaelic, the festival and the month are both called La to the first Nastal. In Manx, the festival and the month are both called Lughnasadh. The day itself may be called either Lugh Lughnasadh or Lugh Lughnasadh. In Welsh, the day is known as Culhán Awst, originally a Latin term, the Culhans of August in English. Historic Lughnasadh customs. In Irish mythology, the Lughnasadh festival is said to have been begun by the god Lugh as a funeral feast and athletic competition in commemoration of his mother Lugh. She was said to have died of exhaustion after clearing the plains of Ireland for agriculture. Lugh may have been an earth goddess who represented the dying vegetation that fed mankind. The funeral games in her honour were called the Aench Tailton or Aench Tailton and were held at Tailton in what is now County Meath. The Aench Tailton was similar to the ancient Olympic Games and included ritual athletic and sporting contests. The event also involved trading, the drawing up of contracts, and matchmaking. At Tailton, trial marriages were conducted, whereby young couples joined hands through a hole in a wooden door. The trial marriage lasted a year and a day, at which time the marriage could be made permanent or broken without consequences. A similar Lughnasadh festival, the Aench Carmen, was held in what is now County Kildare. Carmen is also believed to have been a goddess, perhaps one with a similar tale as Lugh. After the 9th century the Aench Tailton was celebrated irregularly and it gradually died out. It was revived for a period in the 20th century as the Tailteann Games. From the 18th century to the mid-20th century, many accounts of Lughnasadh customs were recorded by folklorists and other writers. In 1962 the Festival of Lughnasa, a study of Lughnasadh by folklorist Máire MacNeill, was published. MacNeill drew on the historic accounts and on earlier medieval writings. She concluded that the evidence testified to the existence of an ancient festival on August 1 that involved the following. A. Solemn cutting of the first of the corn of which an offering would be made to the deity by bringing it up to a high place and burying it. A meal of the new food and of bilberries of which everyone must partake. A sacrifice of the sacred bull, a feast of its flesh, with some ceremony involving its hide. and its replacement by a young bull. A ritual dance play perhaps telling of a struggle for a goddess and a ritual fight. An installation of a head on top of the hill and a triumphing over it by an actor impersonating Lugh. Another play representing the confinement by Lugh of the monster blight or famine. A 3-day celebration presided over by the brilliant young god, Lugh or his human representative. Finally, a ceremony indicating that the interregnum was over, and the chief god in his right place again. Many of Ireland's prominent mountains and hills were climbed at Lughnasadh into the modern era. Over time, this custom was Christianized and some of the treks were recast as Christian pilgrimages. The most well-known is Reeks Sunday the yearly pilgrimage to the top of Croagh Patrick in County Mayo in late July. As with the other Gaelic seasonal festivals, feasting was part of the celebrations. Bilberries were gathered on the hills and mountains and were eaten on the spot or saved to make pies and wine. In the Scottish Highlands, people made a special cake called the Lughnasadh, which was also called Lughnasadh when given to a man and Lughnasadh when given to a woman. This may have originated as an offering to the gods. Another custom that Lughnasadh shared with Imbolc and Beltane was visiting holy wells. Visitors to holy wells would pray for health while walking sunwise around the well. They would then leave offerings, typically coins or clooties. Although bonfires were lit at some of the open-air gatherings in Ireland, they were rare and incidental to the celebrations. Modern Lughnasadh customs, in Ireland, some of the mountain pilgrimages have survived. By far the most popular is the Reeks Sunday pilgrimage at Croagh Patrick, which attracts tens of thousands of pilgrims each year. The Catholic Church in Ireland established the custom of blessing fields at Lughnasadh. The Puck Fair is held each year in early August in the town of Kilorglin, County Kerry. It has been traced as far back as the 16th century but is believed to be a survival of a Lughnasadh festival. At the beginning of the 3-day festival, a wild goat is brought into the town and crowned king, while a local girl is crowned queen. The festival includes traditional music and dancing, a parade, arts and crafts workshops, a horse and cattle fair, and a market. It draws a great number of tourists each year. In recent years, other towns in Ireland have begun holding yearly Lughnasa festivals and Lughnasa fairs. Like the Puck Fair, these often include traditional music and dancing, arts and crafts workshops, traditional storytelling, and markets. Such festivals have been held in Gweedore, Sligo, Brandon, Rathangan and a number of other places. Craigornowen, an open-air museum in County Clare, hosts a yearly Lughnasa festival at which historical reenactors demonstrate elements of daily life in Gaelic Ireland. It includes displays of replica clothing, artifacts, weapons and jewellery. A similar event has been held each year at Carrickfergus Castle in County Antrim. In 2011, RTA Permil aired a live television programme from Craigornowen at Lughnasa, called Lughnasa Live. In the Irish diaspora, survivals of the Lughnasadh festivities are often seen by some families still choosing August as the traditional time for family reunions and parties, though due to modern work schedules these events have sometimes been moved to adjacent secular holidays, such as the 4th of July in the United States. The festival is referenced in Brian Farrell's play Dancing at Lughnasa, which was made into a film of the same name. Neo-paganism Lughnasad and Lughnasad-based festivals are held by some neo-pagans, especially Celtic neo-pagans. However, their Lughnasad celebrations can be very different despite the shared name. Some try to emulate the historic festival as much as possible, while others base their celebrations on many sources, the Gaelic festival being only one of them. Neo-pagans usually celebrate Lughnasad on July 31 August 1 in the Northern Hemisphere and January 31 February 1 in the Southern Hemisphere, beginning and ending at sunset. Some neo-pagans celebrate it at the astronomical midpoint between the summer solstice and autumn equinox. In 2013, this is on August 7 in the Northern Hemisphere. Celtic Reconstructionists strive to reconstruct the pre-Christian religions of the Celts. Their religious practices are based on research and historical accounts, but may be modified slightly to suit modern life. They avoid syncretism. Celtic reconstructionists who follow Gaelic traditions tend to celebrate Lughnasadh at the time of first fruits, or on the full moon nearest this time. In the northeastern United States, this is often the time of the blueberry harvest, while in the Pacific Northwest the blackberries are often the festival fruit. In Celtic reconstructionism, Lughnasadh is seen as a time to give thanks to the spirits and deities for the beginning of the harvest season, and to propitiate them with offerings and prayers not to harm the still ripening crops. The god Lugh is honored by many at this time, and gentle rain on the day of the festival is seen as his presence and his bestowing of blessings. Many Celtic reconstructionists also honor the goddess Tailtiu at Lughnasadh, and may seek to keep the Caelican from damaging the crops, much in the way appeals are made to Lugh. Wiccans use the names Lughnasadh, or Lammas for the first of their autumn harvest festivals. It is one of the 8 yearly sabbats of their Wheel of the Year, following Midsummer and preceding Mabon. It is seen as one of the 2 most auspicious times for hand fasting, the other being at Beltane. Some Wiccans mark the holiday by baking a figure of the corn god in bread, and then symbolically sacrificing and eating it. See also. References. Further reading, Carmichael, Alexander. Camina Gadelica. Lindisfarne Press. ISBN 0-940262-50-9. Deneha, Kevin. The Year in Ireland. Irish Books and Media. ISBN 0-937702-13-7. McKillop, James. Dictionary of Celtic Mythology. Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-19-280120-1. MacNeill, F. Marion. The Silver Bough. Volumes 1 4. Glasgow, William McLellan. MacNeill, Máire, 1962. The Festival of Lughnasa. Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-906426-10-3. Melia, Daniel F. The Grand Trauma Copyright Naid Le Cronin, a major Breton Lughnasa celebration. The Journal of American Folklore 91, 528 to Euro 542.